strangers. My name is Cori. I live in Wisconsin. I'm 20 years old and I am currently in my junior year of college studying music education. I didn't really know what to do for the video today, so I figured I'll do some coloring of this wonderful Doctor Who picture. Doctor Who is definitely one of my favorite shows, so I figured you get to know me a little better through that. And then otherwise I'm just going to do this voiceover. So like I said, I'm from Wisconsin. I've lived here since I was born. So I have two younger siblings, one of which is a senior in high school, the other which will be starting high school this coming year, which is crazy to me. I was born in July of 1997, so technically a Gen Z, I think, with the new standards for that. Either way, 1997, my parents had met in college and got married 6 months after my mom had graduated, had me a year later. And you know, it's for the first 2 years, it was just the three of us, and when I was about 2.5, my next youngest sibling was born. It was, you know, it was the disturbance everyone talks about where, oh my goodness, there's another person living in our house and taking my parents from me, how dare. But yeah, it was nice to have another person around to play with, and that was fun. Then, about 2/3 of the way through my kindergarten year, we decided to move to a new house, bigger house than the one we had been living in, and we ended up in a sort of like a suburb of the city that we had been living in. So we moved there in April of 2003, and about 4 months later, my mother found out she was pregnant with the youngest of my siblings. So I started in elementary school in my new school district in first grade. It was a little hard to make friends at first, but you know, you do what you can. The one thing that I always really found myself loving was music. Going to music class was always like really fun and enjoyable, you know, like it was the time where you got to do whatever you wanted, sort of. I mean, you got to have fun and just sort of let loose after doing, you know, rigorous schoolwork, I guess. 6th grade, I think January of my 6th grade year, my parents sat us down, told us they would be separating, which was really hard, I think, on mostly me and the older of my two younger siblings, since we were the older two. We had a little bit more understanding about what was going on, about what was really going to happen, and you know, I think it definitely had an effect on us. Our parents hadn't really ever been fighting before. They hadn't seemed like this would be something that would happen, so it really took us all by shock. And it took a while to adjust to. So a few months later, my parents divorced. My mom moved to a city half-hour away from where my dad lived. The three of us kids took to a pattern of we would stay at my dad's house during the school week, so Monday through Friday, and then we'd go spend the weekend at our mom's, so that we could stay in the same school district we had been in. By this point, I had joined choir starting the 5th grade, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with music. I was in band at the time too, and I just loved participating in it. It was a way for me to be a part of a team without having to be competitive in that way, and I really loved it. It was kind of the time where I got to like escape from everything else that was going on, and it was definitely one of my favorite things to do. So then going into middle school, I continued with choir. I dropped out of band after 7th grade and was in the jazz choir my 8th grade year, and I think that was really the turning point for me of like this is something that I would love and I could never leave behind. It was also that year that I decided that I wanted to be a teacher. It was something I'd been going back and forth on, where I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life, which, to be fair, it's like you're in middle school. You don't really know what you want to do at that point anyway. But it was around the end of 8th grade that I decided, teaching might be a lot of fun. It might be something that I feel very comfortable with because I enjoy helping other people and encouraging others and helping them grow. So then I go through high school. I'm continually in choir. For the first half or so, I figure, I'll just go into I'll be like a chemistry teacher or something like that. So I'd really enjoyed science, and it was turning point into junior and senior year of high school where I was like, no, I have to teach choir. I can't leave music behind. It is so much of what I am and who I am as a person that I can't leave that. Junior year was also really significant for me in that I was officially diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. So that's something that I've started, going to therapy for and working through, and that's still something that I'm, working through a lot. I become stressed a lot more easily, and especially now in college, it has definitely, given me a challenge. But I have been trying to take that challenge as an opportunity to grow. So then graduated high school with a pretty good GPA. I ended up going to the college that my parents had both gone to, and began studying music education there. I really loved it. I found a good group of friends. It was a very small private school, and I enjoyed the atmosphere there. It really made me feel like I was not just one of a large crowd. I was really an individual. Freshman year went generally without a hitch. And then beginning of sophomore year, began to notice a lot of differences. I began having problems with focusing in class and, really seeing a lot of lack of commitment and just disinterest in a lot. It was beginning to be really difficult, and so I ended up going into the college counselor, and it was at that point that I was diagnosed with depression, and was immediately put on medication for. That really rocked the boat that I was in. It's something that I'm still working through. It's something that I work through every single day. But it's something that I think helps define who I am in a way, and helps me to really understand why I want to do the things that I want to do. So now, junior year of college, I've transferred to another school after what was a harder sophomore year. The second half especially, I lost a lot of close friends. I was not happy in classes anymore, and it just came to the point where I needed something different. So I transferred to a school which was a little bit closer to home, more students, and it's been so much better for me. I am now part of a sorority here, which is something I don't think freshman year me would have believed, but it's been better than I ever could have hoped or asked for. The music program here is amazing and helps me to push myself, and I couldn't be happier with where I'm at now.